want, what I want to do. Yeah.
Mm, I like it. Hey, Rethabile
So that's
Maphosa,
it.
let me welcome you on Asvaye Explorer. Look, I've been looking forward for this session, and it's one thing that I think I've been working on the previous weeks. Although there were some other interviews that I had, only because I was amazed by your profile, the things that you stand for. I like the type of person that you seem to be, and some of the sentiments that you put out there. I was really fascinated by that, and I was already anticipating the courage that is going to come out of this session. So let me welcome you on as Vegas Explorer.
Thank you so much. I think my goal is to just, be vulnerable and, let the conversation flow and give off as much as I can. So yeah, I'm also, it's something I haven't done, but also yeah, I'm excited. It's a space where I also want to be, but I'm also excited to be here. So thank you.
All right. I mean, to start with, I want us to go back to your childhood. Just tell us how it's been growing up for you. What are some of the challenges that you faced that really contributed to the core you that we have today?
Hugh, growing up, like I want to say, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember now, but I remember I was like looking back at the photos, like I can see that I was a happy child. And like I want to say I'm an extrovert also, but yet not an extrovert. I have that parts. But yeah, growing up, I was a happy child. I grew up. I want to say I was born in Krugersdorp, yeah, and then I went to preschool there. Yeah, I went to my entire preschool there, and then um when I started grade 1, then I moved to Lichtenburg. People don't know Lichtenburg. It's like a small town near Mafikeng. I don't know. Yeah, people like majority of people either know Mafikeng or Sun City. So yeah, it's before Sun City. I mean, it's after Sun City, but before Mafikeng. So yeah. So yeah, I think I was a happy child. I was confident. And then we moved to Lichtenburg, but the culture in Lichtenburg was different. Like I remember, we couldn't. I didn't play like I want to call them indigenous games, skipping, kati, and stuff like that. But I remember my cousin teaching us that. Yeah. So then, you grow fond, you play with the other kids and stuff like that. But what I realized, like grade 1, I really struggled to, you know, not really get along with the other kids, but, just, be friends, make friends. I remember I had one friend in grade 1. That girl used to annoy me because she was my friend. When I went to school, at least I had somebody to sit with at school. But this girl never came to school, to school. And then come lunch time, I'm there alone. And I'm like, this girl. And like growing up, we went to school every single day. Like, and we never got sick easily. I think it was my brother that usually got measles or stuff like that. So during that time, he would stay home, and my sister and I would, um, go to school. So, like, school, last day of school, you would go. Like, it doesn't matter how your friends are not there. Your friend's mother said, their kids can stay home. We went to school. So, yeah, that was me growing up. And then what else? So, yeah, I did my primary school in Lichtenburg Primary. I also did my high school in Warschau Lichtenburg. And then I think something that would describe me throughout um, primary school days and my high school days is that I'm just genuinely a hard worker. Like I would put in the effort to get the good marks, the good grades. Yeah. And then whatever additional activity I wanted to do, like I was not shy. I remember in high school, even the netball, if I wanted to take part in the netball, I would take part. the hockey, I would take part. So I wasn't really, whatever I wanted to do, like I would do. Yeah. So just that's just me growing up. And I think also, I think your question also mentioned challenges. Like during that time of my life, I really didn't have challenges. The only thing that I would say was a challenge is that during that time of my high school life, I think, because of bullying and stuff like that. So I didn't perceive myself like pretty and stuff like that. But yeah, I went through high school. But um, even after like I finished my high school, I don't even think when I prayed, when I was going to varsity and I prayed, I think I prayed that God gives me friends. The rest, like, oh, please make me pretty. No, I think that it was there. I knew, they were girls that were pretty, yeah. But, for me, it was like, oh, okay, I'm comfortable in my skin. But I wouldn't say that time I was comfortable in my skin. Only like varsity, after high school, then I can say that, I became comfortable in my skin. I just liked who I am, who I was, who I stand for, my values. Yeah. Yeah. But I wouldn't say
I
I had my challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. And please, as I ask my following question, would you please just reload the site again, just as we did
Okay.
before we come in there?
Okay.
Yeah, so people, if you have a question for Rethabile Maphosa, please drop your question on the comment section. She's an aspiring CA. She finished a Bachelor's of Accounting in the University of the Free State. So if you have a question, please do submit your question. And now I want to question this. I want us to start right with fire questions already. You mentioned that uh, in order for people to grow or transform, it's if they are faced with challenges that challenge how they think. Where do you come across that, and when do you formulate that?
Yeah, for me, I think that's a very good question. I remember, and this is something that happened earlier this week now. I think we don't converse enough to say that just getting to understand, I think just getting to understand each other. I mean, I hope you're still on.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
still
I'm
on?
still on. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So no, how I came about that is that, it's easy to make assumptions. There's people that live Kokazi and then there's people that live in town. And it's easy to make assumptions for, oh, but Bakukasi, they this type, or people that live in town behave in a certain way. But we don't actually take time to converse and say, this is Motoko guys. Just understand the person. Okay, this is their challenges, you understand? And you might not be in that position to understand their challenges, but just being aware, okay, this is going on with them. So that's where I came across that. And something that happened earlier this week, somebody asked the question, if you were president for a day, what would you change? So, and then one
Very
person, we were
beautiful
sitting,
question.
yeah, we were sitting
Uh,
around a room, and the one guy was like, no, I will start with, what's this? Taking out our corrupt leaders, whoever is corrupt, I will just remove from parliament so that we know that we don't have leaders that are corrupt. And another person was like, no, he would stop the grant system. Yeah, well, so, and he was under, this person was just under the impression that no, grants are just a waste of money. People think that if they receive grants, um, they don't have that initiative or that thing in them to say, hey, let me go start and look for work. They're just sitting at home. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate is high. It's not like somebody that sits at home, it's sitting because they want to sit. Like it's not easy to get a job, you understand? but also understanding, it might make some people lazy, understand, but just wiping out a grant for somebody that didn't even finish high school, doesn't even have an education to start off with, I think, it's not really realistic. But for me, that's having these meaningful conversations just to see, Hore, this is the type of people we have in our society. And yeah, just rationalizing around that, actually showing this person like a certain few pointers. Yeah, so that's how I came about that, having meaningful conversations. I think for me, the more we have these meaningful conversations, the more we understand each other.
Mm, one thing that fascinated me around it is that, if you say that people should be challenged on how they think, I think that can help them a long way, because we're facing challenges each and every day, right? I always put it
Yeah.
out there that each of us we just facing challenges. What set us apart or what differentiate us is actually how we approach these challenges. I feel like we have to be trained before, before the day or for a day. And so that really got my attention. And now the other thing that I realize about you. You mentioned you believe so much in education, that education will it's actually the key to progress. I love that. I love you put it. It's the key to progress. Um, I think that's one thing that you've been so much vocal about. I think since 2018, if I can recall right well. Do you still say that? Do you still say the same thing even today? And for you, how do you perhaps describe education to some?
um you know I want to also just maybe start there, like, when you're in high school and you're just also preparing for varsity. Yeah, I think the like your goal is to be an actuary, is to be an engineer, is to be a doctor. You understand? And I think back then, for me, that would say, if somebody is a doctor, is an actuary, I would definitely have said, oh, this person is educated. And also, I think that also didn't stem just from like high school. I think you would watch, I personally love pageants. I just believe that it empowers women, you know so I just would sit looking at Miss South Africa and these girls, and I remember they were sitting, so before how the pageant goes now, they would sit like in a round table, like a round table talk or something, and they would just say, oh, I got 90% for maths. And these are very beautiful girls, they're striving for, to be the best in this world, and they would say 100% for maths, this much for um, physics. So for me, looking at that, for me at a young age, that was education. But I also feel like, just to get back to your question, um, I, I still believe in what I said, education is the key to progress. I think just education gives every child, if they actually want to study, and not everybody wants to study, by the way. So whoever wants to study, gives that person a fighting chance in this life. You understand? So I will always be I'll always what's this? Um, Advocate for that, because it gives every child, or our parents couldn't study, not all our parents couldn't study, so I'll always advocate for that, because it gives every child like a chance in this life, in this difficult life. Yeah, but in essence, I don't believe that also you should have a degree to say that you're educated. um, you know, in this day and life, you have your YouTube, you have your social media, there's other academic platforms to educate yourself. So for me, it's really not just about holding a UFS degree to say that you're educated. Actually, when I started doing my articles, my firm actually gives. So when you do your psycho articles, there's a 5 year plan. I want to call it a plan, or a 3 year plan. So when you are post if you have your degree, then your articles are over 3 years. If you don't have a degree, only a matric certificate, then your articles are over 5 years. So I remember going to work, and I started with people that didn't have a degree, and I can't really say that they were not educated because they don't have a degree, you know. So I think there's this thing, this concept in this world that just because you have a degree, you're educated. No, it really doesn't work like that. But just empowering yourself, knowing what is going on around you, that is being educated for me as well.
I like that. I like how you're going down with this thing. And now I want to ask this question. Since you've been in a workplace, or, well, I've never been in a corporate before, so I don't think. Yeah.
Ask
So let
away.
me. All right. Let me ask this question now. Have you realized, like, have you ever realized educate lack of education in present of a degree, like someone is holding a degree but they are not
Yeah,
educated? Can you explain that? Because it
yeah,
is sort of it is sort of assumed that with degree comes an education. Can you go deep on that?
yes. I wouldn't say that I'm going to go deep, but let me just how I understand it now. Remember when we do our studies now, there's certain curriculums that you learn, there's modules that you take and stuff like that, and you are expected that when you graduate, you know what that curriculum is. You know it. I don't want to say from the back of your head, but you know, Hore, um, this is strategic management. This is what it entails, right? But remember, when you're at varsity, even in high school, sometimes you just cram for the test so that you can just get through, right? So, I, I personally, I would say that, I had my degree, but when I got to the workplace, I knew that when I was supposed to do your debits and credits, those things used to confuse me. Even in varsity, they used to confuse me. So I would think that you're asking that question in that context that you do have your degree, but now I think the missing man in this certain case would be you don't have the application, rather, if I'm answering your question correctly. So that's how I would. I'm not sure what you would think would be, the answer to this question, but for me, that's how I would, answer it. What do you think, actually? Do you think that you can be educated? What's this? Have a degree, but not educated.
I enjoy asking people questions when you get to when you turn the tables now. It's something else. Yeah. Ooh, I honestly
Because
don't know. I don't know how to. I don't know
because for
how to
me,
answer.
that's how I, when you asked the question, I thought about it, because it's so easy. Like, you got your masters, you got your, bachelors, but when you get to the workplace, the environment is different. The skills that you need is different. You understand? As much as, like, the nicest part about, you having an education is that when you get to the workplace and they speak about a certain thing, it's not the first time you hearing about that thing, or it makes sense. You're like, oh, I've heard about this, let me quickly look up. And I've always seen how doctors, but this is just on social media, how they would go back and say they need to study. Do you understand? These are fully qualified doctors, got their degrees and stuff, and before they do their rotation, they would just go back and to their textbooks and actually say, they need to study. But yeah, I'm not sure if I actually answered your question correctly, but yeah.
Yeah, I get it. And if you spin in the question to me now, I want to believe that education by the traditional meaning is the like it is the process of acquiring information and be precise on the application of it, right?
Mm,
And the quality of it is if we acquire the information, whether practically or theoretically. But at the end, we should be able to be at the point where we can execute whatever that we were educated about. Say, for instance, let me give you example. I'm not yet certificated, but I did all the business modules and commercial modules. So I studied business for a very long time, and I realized that I am very like informed or educated when it comes to the space of business, because talking about strategic management, I know that you're talking about um, corporate governance or something like that. I am also informed on that. So I feel like with the degrees, sometimes there can be lack of education there, but I'm not going into deep as well. So the thing that I really want to say is that sometimes we omit, like there's a gap of education or the information, because you'll find that some assignments and you didn't even write them by yourself. Some uh like you just taking all the information for the sake of the paper or the exam and stuff, and therefore you end up not being informed. Because I've had this mostly happen in the space of science. This guy also was saying to me, the guys that are coming from university, when they get into the into the actual world of things, you find out that they don't know anything. You have to teach them from scratch. You
mm,
understand? So that's why I was actually asking. I'm not standing at the point where I can answer this question confidently, but I guess that's what I can say. I guess that's what I
oh,
can
that's
say.
good.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, I guess
that's
that's what I can say. Now I want to come to a point of your mindset. You said you've been a very hardworking person. Uh, like, how do you get to a point where you recognize yourself as a hard worker? Why? Were you goal driven, or it's just you just like it's how you behave when you presented with the challenges in front of you?
mm.
What's the
I
reason
wouldn't
behind your hard work?
I wouldn't say that, nah. I think firstly the environment, nah. I have a smart brother and a smart sister. And I remember in my in high school, my sister would watch TV. And like for me it felt like she studied like 1 hour. That was it. And she's still good. She got her marks, she was able to do well, and she was able to understand complex scenarios. Similarly to my brother was always with friends. And for me to get to that level, I had to put in the work. I had to it wasn't something where I just put in 1 hour. No, I really need to put in the work. So firstly, that's how I identify that I need to work hard to get to that level where I want to get. Secondly, I would say it's just my environment. I think my parents also worked hard, so for me the goal was to, girl, you better work. You better work, you better put in that effort. So I think it's just my environment firstly, and then yeah, you actually want to reach a place where you've worked hard, and then you can rest now. You understand? You've paid all your dues, and now you can rest. So yeah, that's how but also remember, because I've always worked hard at a young age, it has become a habit. Uh, you know, at work, you know, whatever, anything that I do, then it just becomes a habit that, girl, you just need to put, whatever you're doing, you just need to put, extra work. But in terms of my mindset, it's not because I'm goal driven. Maybe it is, hey, because you just want to get that CASA designation, and maybe be Miss South Africa. That's also like a driving force behind everything, why I'm putting in the effort, because I actually want to do these things on the other hand. But yeah, I think from a young age it became a habit, because my environment, like I said, my parents, I saw with my siblings that to get there I need to put in that extra effort. But yeah, I think that's where it came from. And I think people, yeah, it's, people know that, girl, this girl will put in the work. Yeah.
I I am happy that you were not born like as a hard worker. It's something that you had to inhabit along the way. So now I want to ask this question and see if you and see if you can be able to to explain it someone to that extent. Say now we have an average person, the you before the decision of becoming a hard worker. How do you convert that person into the current version of you? How was the process looking like?
Whew. Yeah. I think, Batle, you really need to want something. You really can't make somebody that's average a really like a hard worker. If you really want something, I think it needs to stem from inside. At the end of the day, there's no use that I tell you, oh, have a morning routine or put this much hours. If I'm not really interested, am I gonna put what's this effort into that? you know but I think somebody really needs to want whatever it is, whether they want to make money, whether they want to study further, whether they want to go into business like you. I mean, it's easy to look at somebody like you and then, oh, you into business, teach me how. It's a lot of work. It's not something that you wake up one day, hey, I have a business running up. It's really, I think that's the for me what I feel that society paints, um I want to say, as easy to do. It's really not easy. And unless you are asking also that, me converting that person into, and also I'm just jumping around now, it's also a personal choice. I'm just thinking, that person sitting there as average is comfortable with where they're sitting. Am I comfortable? I'm not comfortable. That's why I'm going for the big guns. So I think, yeah. And you're not only, I think your question is even relevant today with my current environment at work. And you just get people, you know they just do bare minimum, half past four, go home. So and they're comfortable with that. They have the reasons why they only put in bare minimum. And mind you, I always feel like, if you feel like this person is average, but in other aspects of their life, they actually working hard. Let me tell you that there's something they
Yeah.
if they actually working on something, there's something that they actually putting effort in. That's It's not showing in what you are seeing every day, but it's showing in that aspect of their lives, that they actually putting in effort. But yeah, I think, working hard, it's also all in the mind. Sometimes you are tired. I won't lie. I think you asked me earlier on before we started, like, your timeline is so clean. And I reached that stage where, like, I just didn't have energy. I just didn't have energy to do other things or pursue other things other than work. I just didn't have the energy to understand. So I was there. So, like I said, like I just told myself this year, um, I'm blossoming out, I know I have potential. So yeah. So yeah, that was the motto, the goal, the mantra for the year, that, we're putting our best foot out and we're reaching for the stars.
Mm. What I mean, what advice do you normally give on people mindset if maybe people are presented with a challenge, but they don't realize themselves as fit enough to 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 finish up the challenge, to see the challenge through, or just people with self-doubt, let me say like that. How do you advise that mindset?
Um, for me, I would say that, remember, at the end of the, like, I wouldn't say that, the issue to get to the finish line is the obstacle. So I think you are if I would give advice now, I would rather let that person, um what's this, focus on the obstacle, because I think in so many times we focus on the destination and the what, but the obstacle is what you need to overcome. Do you understand? So if I would, and also at that point in time, the obstacle seems so big, and this time of the year, trainees want to sign off, because they need to qualify and stuff like that. But then you feel like, oh, I don't have this much, this, I don't have this. But in essence, they actually do. They must just find a way to, obtain whatever that they need, miss, or still need to sign off. But for me, I think, I, if I'd like to, make the person aware that the actual issue is just the obstacle. And the moment somebody sees that this obstacle is not as big as you think, like, honestly, I yeah, for me, it's just making sure that this person sees that this obstacle is nothing. Literally, just day by day, like, then you're over the obstacle and then you can move to the finish line. So if
So
I would
you
give
basically
advice,
break it down.
you busy, like, literally, don't worry about. And I think that's for me, because I always felt like, oh, by this time I should have qualified, and I should have been done and stuff like that. Relax, girl. Your designation is waiting for you at the finish line. You need to focus what you what's on your plate right now. Finish here. The title is waiting for you on the other side. So yeah, for me, that's, if I can master that, then I'm good. Because the moment you focus, like, remember, the finish line it's not moving. It will still be there, but the only issue is that you're just gonna have detours around your journey, or your, whatever the goal is. You're just gonna have obstacles, detours, trials and tribulations, but at the end of the day, the finish line will be there waiting for you to cross. So yeah, for me, it's to, like, just take it day by day, focus on today, get through today, you good.
I love that, and it brings me to this point of a question. As I was going through your timeline, I saw this, and but it's something that I've seen before. I saw, it's Jay Shetty. I don't know if you know him. He was saying this. He was saying, like, he was reading about this philosopher, Charles Cooley, that said people in our living years are struggling to find themselves because they are trapped in people's mind, you know. And as you speak that, just be at one step, that be at the day, just relax. Some people are not. are not able to relax because they are trapped in people's perception about them. And this philosopher therefore said people are living in times where um they don't like they are not what people think they are. They are not even what they think they are about themselves. They are actually what people think they are. Let me put it in the
I
in
think I
like
get it.
in yeah, yeah, in an individual sense, that as Bahle, I'm not living to my best, or I'm not comfortable where I am, or I'm not even happy about myself because where like I'm not what I think I am, and I'm not I'm not what you think I am. I'm actually what I think you think I am, and therefore I live up to the standard of the perception that you have about me. Like how do you break away from that and become yourself, and just take your journey as real as it is.
I really like I don't even have an answer for you, and I was there. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know even how to answer this question because for the longest time I've wanted to enter Miss Essay, but I was just so ashamed. Like literally so ashamed. I don't know why. And I just I broke that. Whether people like the video, my entry, I liked my entry video, whether people said stuff that was on them. This was my journey now. I just broke from that idea that what are people gonna say, people know me as this person. So I just broke, and for me also, remember, sometimes you're just living in your head. People don't even think so much about you. Sometimes people have their own problems. That's another thing that you should also be mindful of. People
Yeah.
just have their own problems going. I understand that there's people that are gonna be like, oh, did you see Bahle with this? Or they're like, hey, did you see which car he bought? Or stuff like that. But like, not everybody is like that. People are focused, people are driven. So it's not every day. Sometimes it's all, like I said, it's all in your head. But I mean, to answer your question, I can't even say how. For me, it was a process. Like I said, I closed myself out for no reason, to a point where sometimes there were friends that I didn't talk to, friends that I really like, friends that I prayed for before going to varsity. And it's not about, oh, we hate each other or what. It's just that I just lost myself. I got consumed in my head. And yeah, it happened that this year was the year, and I'm like, I'm no longer living in my head. I'm going for the gold, the stars. Yeah. So yeah, I really don't have
T-
advice. You asked for advice, what advice I would give, but I really don't know. For me, it was a process. I just had to overcome. I had to relearn who Rethabile is, and then yeah.
I get it. I think I was listening to something that was talking about uh heroes, like black heroes. Where did black heroes go? This morning I was listening to something about that. So you know um so this guy is saying now, because of like the negativism that we focus on when we look at someone's story, even if they are progressive people, we have discouraged we have discouraged people to follow great people and to have heroes. So I think again, this is and then again, this is an advice in package. You're a great person, and I believe like your greatness is about to manifest in many levels. So if you can help me and help the people that are still gonna reach you, I mean, in years to come, just to be conscious of the things that you do so that your life doesn't become miraculous. Because, as you speak, like the thing of knowing how to close yourself off when it is time to close yourself off from the things. I think there's a lot of brilliance that go there, but that goes into that because people are struggling with that. I know people that would say, "Hey guys, I'm living social media today, and tomorrow they are online." They can't master the art of living. They are psychologically trapped into this digital world. But knowing how to close yourself off when it's time to close yourself off, it's like it's a skill, and it's a very like imperative skill in our living years. So when I say I think you should start being conscious about the things that you do, it is because at the end we have people that are gonna come and ask, how did you do it? And
Mm,
if you were not conscious, you just assume it was just a miraculous action that took place there.
yeah,
So yeah. So that's what I want to say. But at the same time, I get it. The results of you not being conscious, you're probably not thinking that at the end you'll have to account to someone. This is how I did this, and this is how I did. I've done this. But it's a spirit. It's an unconscious spirit of leadership that goes into us. But I understand at the same time it is discouraged because as people right now, we do things for ourselves. Some people, there are people that are great people and they don't do things for people. And therefore, they forget to record how's the process looking like because they don't think they'll ever come back and explain to people because all they know about like sharing greatness is that they were attacked and stuff like that. So, in short, my advice is just be conscious of the things that you do because they will really help some people to come along the way. Did you
definitely,
get it?
definitely,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Let me come to the question of confidence. You mentioned confidence. Your childhood, I think, is a bit far. Not even, it's actually opposite to my childhood. Growing up, I didn't have confidence. And looking at me now, talking like this, or maybe feeling, or maybe seem to be enthusiastic about what I'm doing right now, I think I'm paying the price of the of my childhood, the fact that I never had confidence, but now that I have it, I'm gonna run with it, you know. So I want to ask this question: how did self-confidence contribute to your progress? What's the importance of having confidence or being a confident individual?
Uh, m- I'm having connectivity issues. Maybe if you can repeat your question.
Can
I
you hear me
heard,
right now?
how can confidence contribute to your progress? Is there anything else?
Yeah, if you're having just reset your site and then come back again, it will be fine. Are you still there?
Can you hear me still?
Yes, I was saying please reset your site and then come back. It will be fine when you come back.
Can you hear me?
Definitely.
Okay, sorry, my connectivity. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Did you reset the site?
Okay, let me quickly reset. Can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
Okay, sorry about
Y-
that. I'm not sure why.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, maybe
Can
repeat
I
your question.
repeat my question?
Yeah,
Okay. So my question is, how like how would you describe the importance of self-confidence, like in your life, whether you are presented with the task, activities, how would you like really describe the benefits of having confidence? Is it the most important
yeah,
thing?
it is. It is. I've been in rooms where I didn't feel like, I deserved to be there, but because somebody believed in me and believed that I could do it, I think that also gave me confidence to do whatever it did. But because I always, present myself as a confident person, then I think it does really help. Hey, and people do take you seriously. I won't lie, especially in corporate. If you're there and then you don't believe that you can do this, I don't think somebody would give you a big task to handle or to run with, or if they sick. They'll be like, hey, can you please run with this? I don't think so. Like, yeah, I think it's not the only thing that you need, but I feel like it's something that um you should possess, and just to go back, I was not always confident, let me tell you that, but my mother fueled me with confidence. If I came home and said, hey, I'm not pretty, she's like, girl, you're the prettiest girl in the world. So
For sure.
it was fueled at home, I won't lie. So I think for me, definitely confidence should be fueled at home at an early age. And I wouldn't say like I was this person before. I remember even in primary, I remember I took part in a speech contest where you prepare for a speech. I had prepared, I knew my speech, everything. I went to stand in front. Um, and I could not remember a thing. Like, I could not remember. I remember the parents were sitting at the back, and I could not remember a thing. And my mother, after that, she was not angry. She's like, "Yo, you did well." In my mind, I'm like, I forgot my speech. Yeah, so I think it does help. And another thing is that, like I said, like your environment needs to fuel your confidence. Even in varsity, I was not like I said, I had like I was not confident in how I looked, but for some reason, my friends genuinely believed I was pretty, and I'm like, am I? But but that also, like, the environment really, I think, also be in an environment that it really um boosts your confidence. You don't want to be in an environment where every sometimes people talk down on you and stuff like that. Like I said, at home nobody speaks down on me. There's times, but like I don't remember growing up, like everything in my mother's eyes was like I would draw the ugliest picture in the world. In my mother's eyes, it would be like, that's perfect. That is perfect. And we look back in the pictures and it is horrible. But yeah, I think um, just be in environments where your confidence really, somebody really boosts your confidence. Even in your work environment, né, people will never be always be pleased with your work. Or yeah, let me rather put it that way. But remember, sometimes people are not pleased because they always want extra. But if you believe that whatever you've put up is actually good, then there's no need to doubt in yourself, because corporate is a world where you will doubt yourself. You will doubt what you
Why? Why
do.
is that so?
um it's sometimes you're never good enough. Sometimes somebody's preferred over you, I feel like. And um I think just, and you don't always hear I think when I started, you didn't hear like, oh wow, you good. Like what you really, really good. Like starting as a trainee, I didn't hear that much. But like now, you actually hear, oh, like I'm impressed with this. Thank you for assisting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I think that can also, put your confidence down. But like, yeah, try to, I don't think it's the one thing that's important, but I think it can really get you far, you know, and imagine you selling a product and you don't even, you're not confident in your product, you don't believe in yourself. Are you gonna, is somebody gonna invest in that product? I don't think so. Nobody's gonna invest in that product that you don't even believe in or you're not confident in. So it's not the only thing, but there's preparation also, to your progress. And yeah, but I think it's something that you should develop. And if you have, for me, I think what I've tried this year, but I haven't really gotten much of doing. I wanted to be in groups where we actually are able to converse like this, because I think that's also where you build your confidence as well. That's where you're able to learn, build your confidence, and any other extra stuff, even articulate well in front of a lot of people and actually meet and network as well. But I've done like something, not really much, but yeah. But to answer your question, like I feel like, yeah, you do need to have confidence. It's not the only thing, but you do need to have it.
Do you have something else that should really go in complement with self-confidence?
Um, you need to prepare. I think we do undermine the amount of preparation that goes into whatever you need to do. You understand? The other day, I was listening to Ndavi, and she mentioned how she was on a radio talk show, and she mentioned how um, she prepared for this journey. She prepared for this time that she is in now, for this crown. You understand? And she mentioned that, and I think it was Dinewa Ranaka that asked her, like, how did you prepare? And Ndabi mentioned that she did all the things, that said Miss South Africa. So she, whatever she did, she embodied a Miss South Africa. And she made sure that even if she does not come close to the crown, that she now, whatever that the crown has, or embodies, she actually has now, even though she does not wear the crown. She's able to continue with whatever projects she started, and yeah, bring them into fruition.
I love that. I love that so much. You know, um, just to give a point of reference, I think, okay, growing up, I didn't have a dream. I didn't think of myself as a person who was mentally malleable to have like, or maybe to achieve things that question really my mind. To be short, I thought I was like retarded, you know. So I therefore did not formulate a dream for myself. I was not so strategic. When my friends said, I want to be a scientist, I want to be this and that, I was not around that bracket. So there was a very sense of urge for me to have a dream. And I ended up saying, okay, I think I'm gonna be a radio presenter because I never had a problem with talking.
Mm.
I, I can talk to save my life. So I was like, okay, okay, I must just be a radio presenter. And from that moment, I therefore took that as my dream, you know. And I saw when the years were manifesting that I'm not getting to that point of being a radio presenter. And I therefore like created this platform. with the help of the team I was working with back then, we created this platform. And on the first interview that we did, it was a traditional way. So a guest was sitting next to me here, and after that interview, I was like, this thing of radio is actually here. It's actually here. And you know, right now, how I conduct these interviews, I see all the moments that I had under preparation, because sometimes I just look at myself and talk to me as if I'm a guest. I've did this in these interviews. I've interviewed myself so many times because I was trying to prepare myself. You know, I was trying to prepare myself. At this moment, I am like the most fulfilled person, because all those preparations are going into fruition. And I believe one of the reasons people come on this platform is because they also see the value that it can come in contribution. So I totally agree with that. It's a preparation for maybe one day, should I decide to go, like, do this presenting stuff officially, or maybe as my profession, it would go in that. So I love that a lot. You speak fond of your mother. What are some of the principles that you really inherited from her, and like they working for your life now?
Ooh, a lot, a lot, a lot. Um, hmm, where
You
do I even start?
Yeah,
I think,
you very
I
speak
think the
like a
first,
lot about your mother.
yes, the first one, I'd say hardworking. You know, I think she was like the main example. I think both my parents actually, like, you really need to, yeah, how do I put it? You really need to put in the work. And I think from a young age, né, like, I wouldn't say I had the best of life, but I understood that if you want something, you really need to work for it. You understand? So I think that's where the hard work comes in. What else? Just to be a woman, man. Just to be a woman, just to be a lady, just to take care of yourself and stuff like that. And also, I think, you know, mothers just play that role where, I don't know if you also have it, like, you hit the ground bottom and they just dust you up, they put you there, then you can continue running. So I think it's, you know, that. But also, I think I've also had this, what I gained from her is the this, like, having like a strong mentality in what you believe in and going forward as well. um a lot of I can't really name it now, but it's
Mm.
really a lot. I think we are similar, actually. Because we just, I think we have the same values. Maybe it's like one or two things that we might not agree on, but yeah, yeah, I think I'm confident because of her. you know I'm empowered because of her, I'm educated because of her, and yeah, a lot of things. But yeah, you know I think she has actually parted a lot of things.
I hear you. And you spoke about, okay, let me start this question from here. What are some of
Mm-hmm.
the insecurities that our sisters suffer from, or women suffer from, and maybe you have actually defeated? Let me mention one that you've been mentioning constantly. Like, you've always been insecure about your beauty, and you're super beautiful. I give you that. You're super beautiful. But you realize at some point, because of your environment, let me say, you realize at some point that actually I was only insecure about this, but I have it. I'm beautiful. And
Mm.
what are other things that you see constantly that our fellow like women nationally or internationally have insecurities around, and it's just something that they can get over, or it's not even something that is realistic that they should be worrying about.
Mm, you know, I'm not sure what I should say. I'm just trying to think a bit, you know. Girls are insecure about a lot of things, you know. I think
Let's talk about these ones that affect their progress.
that affect their progress. I would say, let me just think a bit. I don't know. And you mean progress in terms of like just life in general, or um, the
Yeah, life in
acceptance
general.
of, or the, okay. I would say, you know, I think the main thing with ladies, nah, um, it's just their physique, how they look. I think that's something, you know, there's always, I know you said other than how they look, but I know girls that struggle with their weight, or, you know, but I just want to maybe think outside, like, you know, how we look, how we dress. I
Okay,
really don't. Do you
because
have something though that you
yeah,
think?
I wanna I wanna come to I wanna come to the point, to this point, as you digesting and thinking about these insecurities that women might have. I wanna you can think about it while while you're answering this. I believe a human mind can multitask. So um I wanna question about your position in the world of feminism. Do you believe in feminism? Are you a feminist?
Yeah, I wouldn't say yes, nah, but in a way that it does not degrade men, in a way that we, you know, celebrate women as well, you know. And I didn't hear most parts of your question. Do you think that this is an insecurity?
No, no, no. This is another this is
Oh,
another
okay,
conversation on its
okay.
own. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is another conversation on its own. So I was
No,
saying
definitely.
let's juggle around feminism while you are thinking about those. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, I think women need to be empowered, you know. I think even in corporate, you know, you get into corporate and like the CFOs and the COOs, the the C-suits, like they call it, have always been men. So, you know, it does it's actually nice when you see a woman in corporate and having a space and a voice to share, you know. I think we usually say this is representation, you know, when you see like a black person in spaces where they, you know, you usually don't see them in. And for me, it's, I don't want to say it's not feminism, but I believe in representation, you know. You do want to see a woman in spaces where they're usually not in, or you don't want to be belittled because you're a woman, you can't do this. But also, you don't want to degrade the men as well in the same, um, you know, movement, you know. It's just more of empowering ladies to say, you are more than able, you are more than capable of doing whatever you need to do or you want to do.
I got it.
Yeah.
I
Mm,
got it. You know, if going back to the question of insecurities now,
mm,
there are a lot of insecurities that I think we detect, not even in the space of women, but I was just trying to be specific so that
mm,
you find courage to talk around around this.
mm,
when it comes to relationships, um, people always try to match their relationships with with existing relationships, and sometimes they wouldn't look at the period of their existence, and you find out that they are not confident where their relationship is, even if it just picked up, you know. Say like oh, 2 days ago I was watching this guy who bought who bought who bought the girlfriend a car, and I had so many comments coming from ladies saying, "This is what men should do. My man is not doing this. When will my man get into this?" You know, and I'm like, but how long? Do you get where I'm going with this?
I get you, but um, I think it's different. I will always respect other people's opinions, nah? But I think it's, it's also hard because I'm not in a state of insecurity also, but I also need to be aware of what's going on. But I mean, in with that example that you just gave, it for me, I would be more happy if I can afford myself to actually walk into a Lamborghini or Mercedes Benz store and buy that myself. Do you understand? And I think also with that scenario you made, we just put so much pressure on men what they need to do. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't do this. Girls love it. I love it. But it shouldn't put men in situations where they now feel the pressure that, oh, I need to do this. You understand? That's the first thing. I think we put, for me, from that scenario, I just feel like we just put so much pressure on men, which is unnecessarily. But also, on the other hand, I think for me, I'd be more happier if I know that even if somebody would do that for me, just having the confidence that I can do that for them in return, because it's not a one-sided relationship. On the other hand, it goes two ways, because if you expect something, I believe that um you should be able to do the same for that person. I mean, that person should not just give just because of your gender. I think that that's not valid enough. But I also feel like just because somebody's doing it, it's not wrong. It's maybe they love language, for instance. So with me, I, I'm not insecure about that, because I think also with me, what I try to do, I try to be content with what I have. But I hear you, you would compare, ladies would compare all this relationship compared to this relationship. But I mean, if you're not happy, I think it's something you can always communicate to your partner if you're not happy with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, that's how I
I
feel
I
about it.
I get it. And what's how do you describe your best situation of a romantic relationship, or your ideal situation of love?
Oh, I think just being best friends, often think of um the relationship that I have with my sister. Like like she always says, like if we were not sisters, we wouldn't even have spoken to each other. We wouldn't have been friends. But I think, you know, because we're so different, we all able to compromise for each other. And but just going back to your question, my just ideal, just having a best friend you can always communicate to, somebody that's always willing to push you like a level up, to motivate you, and somebody to enjoy life with, honestly. And I mean, what's more than that? Just you here for only a certain time, so might as
Mm.
well enjoy life with that person.
How do we help people who how do we help people to escape from the pressure of social media, especially the one that is not beneficial for them? What you've got to say to them?
It's gonna be hard, and I think people should just start knowing who they follow also, and you know what's toxic for you. You know, if you look at this, you're gonna feel some sort of jealousy, or if you know, um you just actually maybe following this person just because you want to stalk them, or but for me is social media will always be there. These social media platforms don't filter out what's negative, what's positive, and I think it's also up to people that use it to ensure that they use it properly also. But something that you should, you know how you know that this thing is not good for me in real life, if you know that, um I don't know what example to make, but you know that, let's make even people, you know that this person is not good for me. You somehow draw boundaries for those people. And I think it's the same. If you know that this platform is not good for me, then don't, I think stay away. There's other platforms, honestly, that you can look at. And also, I think, yeah, I think maybe changing the platforms, I think for me, yeah, that would work. But you choose what you follow. So Bashle cannot come and then unfollow that person for you. So you need to be self-aware that this is toxic for me, actually. So I need to cut it out. You understand? It's not healthy for my mental health. It's not healthy for me. It's not, it's not giving me progress. Because, yeah, I think, like I think I'm just gonna quote back. You said you have not posted, I have a tendency of going through my social media for a long time. I'm always there scrolling. And what I do is I want to build a brand. I'm not there to scroll. So I always, when I see myself that I'm scrolling, I'm like, brand, what can we post? What can we add in our social media? You understand? But I think somebody needs to be self-aware, but also keeping our communities also and people that use social media also accountable. I mean, you can't just post, whatever you want, knowing that it's gonna affect the next person. I think that's not nice. It happens, and I mean, we're not gonna have like a bully-free, you know, I don't know how to even describe it. Social media, there's always going to be that one thing that, affects the next person. And, but I think we as the users of social media can hold ourselves comfortable that we are mindful of what we share, and then the after effects of that, So, yeah, I think that's the only thing that I can really say. Be mindful of who you follow, and users, be mindful of what you share on your socials.
How do you describe your relationship with money, and what are some of the best principles that go into that relationship?
I have not had a good relationship, I'm not gonna lie. Good. Especially starting out, like, um what's this, with your first paycheck, you just wanna like, "Ah, I've been looking for this dress, I'm gonna buy it. I've been looking for this, I'm gonna buy it." I haven't had. It's only now that, um, some guy actually coached me through easy equity. So I started with that, but I haven't invested a lot, but the little I invested grew a little, you know. So, but yeah, just the relationship with money, it's just I haven't, like I said, I haven't had a good one. But the goal is to save, the goal is to invest, and the goal is to build wealth. So yeah,
Are you looking forward
and
for,
then
are you looking forward to that, the
yeah,
wealth
definitely,
creation?
definitely, definitely. Like I think you asked me if I have any businesses, and I mentioned I am going on leave. I'm actually on leave. So one of the things that I want to get off the ground is I just want to start like a curtain business, just do like curtains. And then one thing that I actually want to get into, but I haven't gotten into, is just have like a, what's this, a makeup business. Yeah. So yeah, I'm into that. I'm still learning as well, honestly. It's not like, I won't lie, my parents didn't have that knowledge or education about that. But going on forward, I mean, it's on me now to, build it up for us.
I
Yeah.
I really loved it. It happens to most of us actually. I was not raised in the space where like people had strong financial IQ. But I want to ask a question while we are on money. I want to ask this question of now. What do you personally realize to be general problem about black people as far as money is concerned?
Ooh, I'm just generalizing now, ne? I don't know the stats, I don't know anything, but I think also with black people, you want to buy cars, you want to live fancy, and to sustain that, it's money, unless you have investments sustaining that. Do you understand? But I think that's like our, what's this? Our problem with money as black people. And also, once somebody gets like a bulk money, like a pension fund, they don't look into reinvesting, but rather just doing all the things, I mean, they've been meaning to do with that money. So yeah, I think that's that. And also, imagine receiving so much money and not having financial literacy. So that's another thing. You in the first place, you don't have that relationship with money. So um if you couldn't manage the little that you had month per month, are you going to be able to manage um such a lump sum? So you just need to ask yourself that question. But also, another thing is that black people are only building now. Another thing. So I hope in future we build enough for like the future generation. We build visions so that our the next generation can catch on to that vision, and the next generation and the next generation. So yeah, I think all that's with me, that black people are only building now. Maybe some have already started building, but they still building, and then they don't really have much to continue with. But yeah, like I said, it's just that we just want all the fancy life, and it's costly. It's costly to maintain, especially if you're disposing at a certain rate and not bringing in at a certain rate. That means whatever you have on hand will be depleted in no time.
I love that analysis and yeah, I love that analysis there. And now I want to ask this question. We have come to the end of our session. I think I'm gonna ask the last three questions, and thank you for holding on. Yeah, thank you for holding on. What are some of the varsity struggles that you encountered, and how did you really solve your way out?
I think for me, firstly, as a varsity student, you broke, but I don't think, like, I didn't think then I should get like a job or something, but I wish I did, because your money as a student is never enough. So that was the first challenge. The second challenge was academics. But let me tell you, in varsity, if you want to get through, surround yourself with people, honestly, that know the work, that are able to assist you if you struggle. Because I think that really worked for me. I don't know how I got through undergrad, but the girls that I hang around with, really assisted me in you know getting through my academic years. Honestly, I really can't say, yeah, I did it by myself.
And you promote your environment big time, Joe. I mean, people that surround you. What's the power of that?
Yo, yeah, I don't know why I have this mentality, but honestly, I just believe if you want to be a millionaire, you really need to chill with the millionaires. And also, one thing that I promote, one another thing that I also promote is it's easy to say, "Oh, chill with the millionaires," but sometimes you really want to be in that environment, but you are unwanted. So I think also remember to be in an environment where you're welcomed as well, as much as you want to be in that environment. Just don't be there for the sake of being there. Honestly, there won't be growth. Honestly, that's my mentality. I think I've always lived like that. Yeah. So if you want to be a certain place, really surround yourself with that people that you feel like I wanna be there, then I think you'll get there.
What is the wish that you have for current generation? Um, in this, like within the radius of Africa, what is it that you wish for young people in Africa? What is it that you think we should realize, we should invest time on, we should start picking up, I mean, having attention around? What's that? Even if
Um,
it's not one thing, okay?
yeah, that's an interesting question. And you know, the other day there's this guy on Instagram that shares some nice, I want to say nice content. He would, for instance, um, what's this? The other day, I don't know if you've heard that apparently the F1 might be coming to South Africa.
The
So
what?
F1,
What's that?
the that motor racing sport with all the cars going around in a circuit. Yeah,
Oh,
but it's just
oh
people
yeah.
with Lewis Hamilton and stuff like that. You know how you would have your big brands like Mercedes, McLaren, and all these brands that race around the track. Né? So it's F1. So then this guy made a short Instagram reel where he mentioned how much revenue this competition can actually bring into this country. And I just realized that Africa has so much potential, you know. When are we going to tap into that potential, you know? And yeah, I think for me, if I could answer your question, is that I wish the next coming generation can tap into this potential that Africa has, you know, whether it's minerals, whether it is generating income, um, tapping into this technology hub, you know, something that, you know, will bring Africa to the map and also generate income um, for Africa. I think we sometimes export and so much things. I mean, import so much things from other countries, something that we can actually produce ourselves. You understand? So for me, it's more of, you know, making Africa wealthy. Yeah, making Africa wealthy, and it's already wealthy. I feel like it's just that reclaiming our wealth rather.
What when you were as you were joining or maybe partaking on pageants, different pageants throughout your life, what was the best question that came from? I get it, you would know that if maybe you made it to the top four or to this top certain amount, you'll be asked this question. What was the best question that came out of that, and how did you answer it?
Um,
There wa- did you get there was any question,
it's a while ago actually, so um
even
I
if it's
can't really
paraphrase, right?
sorry. Yeah, I
Even if
can't
it's
really remember. I can't really remember the question there, but I think it was more in line with women in sports. I can't really remember the question, but it was not Miss Mangaung. I forgot the pageant's name now. But yeah, it was one of the Bloom pageants. And I think Dipalisa asked me a question, but it was more along the lines. I can't remember. I haven't done pageants in a while.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Or should we create
Yes,
our own right here?
you can create your
Okay,
own.
okay,
It's
okay, okay. Let's have our own. Let's have our own. You saying you want to be a brand, I believe being a contestant is it's part of that. It's part of like it's part of the promotion of the brand. Um, what is it that you want your brand to stand for, or what you Rethabile Maphosa stand for? What is it that you stand for? What is it that you want to permeate around girls and guys or people in general?
okay. So I'm still. I don't want to say I already have something. I am working on something. That's something I just want to put out there. But I
Yeah.
know that I'm like I want to inspire with my brand. I want to inspire somebody that in turn they inspire somebody in turn that they inspire somebody. I mean, I have not had an easy CASA journey, but definitely I will get the designation. I don't want somebody that's coming after me to give up to getting that title. But other than that, also inspiring, also in all aspects of my life. That's the first thing about my brand. I also stand for women empowerment. So I just want women to feel empowered in whatever they do, what they want to do. So I will always be for women empowerment. So that's the second thing that I want my brand for. And then lastly, something that I also would like to, that's something that's close to heart is also having like some sort of platform or some sort of awareness where we actually you know, increase the awareness of navigating the corporate world, what to expect when you're starting a new job, how to navigate certain aspects. So for me, it's just navigating the corporate world. So it is inspiring women empowerment and navigating the corporate world. So I think those are more or less the three pillars of my brand. So, but yeah, I haven't gotten anything up and running, but when I do, definitely will share. But it's something that like, I want to define it so properly that, you know, it's somebody can easily understand it. But yeah, I definitely will be building around those three pillars.
Mm. Say now you had a last day to leave or last moment to leave. What is it that you would say to people? What's the gift of words that you would leave with an expectation of execution? I'm asking this question. It's actually the first time I asked this question on this platform, and it's and I'm not saying you're gonna die, right? Like,
Yeah.
but say it's a scary question. But let me just give you the context. I think earlier on I was reading something, and I think I got this from your tablet as well. So this lady is a very famous blogger, and it got to a point where she had a stomach cancer, and I just can't recall her name. And she was like, "I have a car that at this moment it cannot help me. I can take a plane right now anywhere I want. I have that money, but that won't help me too. I have a house that is fully finished, but that cannot help me." So she ended up saying, at this moment, I just realized what matters is the love that I live with people. What is it that you can passionately like leave as a gift or of like to people?
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that lady. And it's something I've been thinking about as well. But, for me, I think I just want to if I would leave something with people, I think I would have loved to have lived
It's okay. Take your
something.
time. It's okay. Take your time.
um, lived what's this? Some had like how do I put it now? At how do I put it? I would say like a life of service rather, you know. I think one thing about me, as much as I'm in corporate, I really like working with people, and I haven't established what it is that I want to do, but I know that when I leave this world, I want to have inspired people, you know. And yeah, I think for me, it's just to inspire. Yeah, but I know it's through service, definitely. I'm not sure what, but yeah, I definitely want to inspire. That's what I want to leave in this world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes the two of us, you know. I was situated in a point where I questioned myself, what exactly do you want to do? Do you want to serve your talent? I said yes. But what is your talent? I don't have. What do you want to do? Because you know, you don't even have a talent. And I went to this leadership academy, and they helped me by saying, you know what, living a purposeful life is really important. But finding your purpose again, it's such like a long warfare because you know there's a lot that go into human being. But for now, just cling to be of service, just serve people, and then make that your purpose. And ever since I think it's 1 year back, I look back now, how when I look how far I've come, I've realized that having that sense that I'm living to serve people despite the department that they call me in. Um, it really like it really made a meaning. It really painted a meaning in my life, you know, and yeah, it really painted a meaning. So that makes the two of us. Yeah, yeah. I really like that. Be of service every time. Be of service every time. And now we have come
Mm.
to the end of the session. How do you how would you like the world to remember you?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, how would you like the world to remember
Yo,
you? I'm I'm
um,
breaking it.
as somebody that's, you know, that loved life, you know, that was humble, that was working, that cared for people, that inspired people, I think, you know, for me, that would be sufficient, you know. And you want people, I would like personally people to remember good things about me as well. So, yeah, nothing really specific, but I think knowing that people remember me in that way, I think I'd be more than satisfied because when I do something, I really put my heart out there. So, it would be nice if people, you know, remembered me that way.
All right. What you've got to say about this platform?
Sorry?
What you've got to say about this platform that we have as Legacy Explorer? What is it that you have to say?
Oh, it's yeah, yeah, I like it actually, you know. I think I've watched quite not really a lot of your interviews when you reached out. And for me, I think people learn here also. And you know my motto, challenging the way people think, you know, I think it's something that, you know, it will definitely do that, you know. I think somebody will have a different perspective after, you know, watching an interview or, you know, it doesn't matter what where you're from, background. I think it really it inspires as well, you know. Yeah.
All right, my sister. Yeah, thank you. And I'm so sorry for penning you with these questions, eh? It's what I
You
do for
did
a living.
it.
It's what I do for a living. And thanks for coming. I really appreciate you coming, you know.
It's
Uh,
a
I
pleasure.
I want to believe that you live up to your motto to challenge the way people think, because you told me that this is not the space, this is not your space of interest, but you came anyway. I don't know what was the drive behind that, but I guess it was to acknowledge the challenge that will come with this session. Thank you so much for your respect, and
Thank
yeah, thank you
you.
so much. I'm hoping to see you one time. My grandmother, my late grandmother used to say, in Xhosa though, ukuthi iintaba zidibane kodwa abantu bahlale bedibana noba kunini bazawudibana ngenye imini. So which means only mountains cannot meet, but people will coincidentally meet. So
Definitely.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, 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 yeah. So thank you
Definitely.
for
We'll make
coming.
time.